When things feel uncertain, are people steady because of you or unsettled by you? Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. My name is Uche Anye Maple, and welcome to the Women Who Lead Network, where we talk about everything leadership, entrepreneurship, and living a purpose-driven life. Today's topic is about how to lead during uncertainty. Okay, so let's get into it. When things feel uncertain, are people settled because of you or unsettled by you? Something to think about. All right. So the reason why I say this is because in moments like this, people don't just hear what you say, they absorb how you carry yourself. People are always constantly watching you as a leader in your organization. They're looking at your tone, your pacing, your reactions to what's happening as you are communicating to them. And that's why the first way to lead through uncertainty is to stop performing that you're certain that everything is good, that you have all the answers, and start being grounded. Like, just start being grounded. Uncertainty has a way of stripping away scripts. There's no perfect message. There's no guaranteed plan. There's no clean timelines. So people stop listening for answers. And what do? They start watching you. And they do that to regulate themselves through you. That's the weight of the moment. So today I want to walk you through 3 ways to lead well when clarity is limited, when the pressure is high, and when people are paying closer attention than you may realize. All right, so point 1, stop performing that you're certain about everything and just be grounded. You know, one of the most common mistakes I see leaders do during times of uncertainty is the pressure to sound confident, to speak quickly, to over-explain, to reassure before you've actually even processed what's happening. Because, you know, the pressure is get out there, help me get out there and say something because everything is going crazy. When reality is that, yes, you want to get there quickly, but you want to regulate how you show up. And when you don't, and when you're doing those things, talking quickly, over-explaining, that's performance. That's not leadership. And guess what? People pick it up. People can feel the difference. You are manufacturing that you're certain about everything, thinking that it's going to calm a room. And it does just for 5 minutes. But it creates long-term mistrust. And I'm not going to talk about what's happening in the world today because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because here's what happened when reality changes, and it always does because there's always new information coming up all the time. Being grounded looks different. Grounded doesn't mean you're detached. It doesn't mean you're passive. And it definitely doesn't mean you're silent. Here's what happens when you've regulated, when you are grounded. Here's some things that you can say as an example. Here's what we know. Here's what we don't know yet. Here's what we're going to do as of right now until we get more information, until things become clear, right? That honesty creates some type of stability. It gets people grounded. It makes them stable. And here's why. Because people don't expect you to predict the future, right? They expect you to be steady inside of it. You know, your nervous system, when you come up there, it sets the temperature for the room. If you rush, they rush. If you tighten, they're going to tighten. If you pause, they breathe. So before you say anything in uncertainty, ask yourself, am I trying to calm them or calm myself? Because grounded leaders don't eliminate. Grounded leaders do not eliminate uncertainty. They make it survivable. Okay? Here's my second point. Create clarity where you can, even if it's small. When uncertainty is high, people don't need big vision speeches. They need anchors. Uncertainty can become very overwhelming when everything feels open-ended, like you don't have an answer. It's like, you're trying to wait to the end of the movie, and when it comes, you're like, I feel like the movie still should be going. Because timelines are vague, priorities keep shifting when nothing feels solid. You may not be able to clarify everything, but you can always clarify something. That's your job in moments like this. Clarity can sound like this. Here's what matters this week. Here's what's not changing. Here's what we're deciding now, and we are intentionally not deciding yet until we get more information. That kind of clarity reduces mental overload. It tells people, okay, you don't have to hold on everything. Just hold this, right? Like, yeah, I know everything is going chaotic, but at least this part here, this is what we know that we're going to do. And here's the clear distinction in that. Clarity is not certainty. Clarity is direction. Certainty is prediction. You don't need to predict outcomes to provide direction, right? You could say things like, if saying things like this, for example, we're revisiting this in 2 weeks, is clarity. Or no decision will be made until this happens. That's clarity. Momentum does not come from knowing the future. It comes from knowing where to focus next. So in uncertain times, small clarity beats big vision every time, y'all. So I remember when I was working on a project where we had to create this particular type of document. And we really was just trying to find clarity on what we wanted to put in this document, because whatever goes in this document is what we were going to build. And there was so much confusion on what to build. And one thing that I did was get the major players together and just set up some type of cadence in terms of what were we going to work on as we're creating and designing. Really, this is like a requirements design document. And my job, because I knew, because there was a lot of smart people in there. But one thing I knew was that even though there's a lot of smart people in there, getting things on paper is difficult, because people have a tendency to just talk, and nothing gets done. And what I did, I created a process. And something that was very chaotic, very uncertain, very loosey-goosey. I created a process so that we can contain it on paper and begin to work through it. And guess what, y'all? It worked. It was small incremental steps. And that's what it takes. But the thing is that you have to have the courage to do that. You have to take ownership of that, which brings me to my third point. Model ownership before you ask for it. Here's the part most people often underestimate. In uncertain, people don't do what you say. They mirror what you do, which is what I talked about earlier. They watch. They watch how you make decisions without perfect information. They watch how you respond when things don't go according to plan, how you talk about responsibility or avoid it. So if you do hesitate to own decisions, others will hesitate longer. If you deflect, others will play it safe. If you avoid the hard calls, momentum stalls. Ooh. Ownership in times of uncertainty doesn't mean pretending you're always right. It means making the best decision you can, standing behind it in that moment because that's the information you had, and adjusting openly when needed, not quietly, not defensively, openly. Yeah, people probably going to be throwing arrows at you, but that's okay because you're the leader and you're taking ownership of it. That transparency builds trust faster than perfection ever could, because it signals it's safe to move, it's safe to decide, it's safe to take responsibility. Uncertainty doesn't excuse passivity. It reveals who's willing to carry the responsibility. And that's who people follow. Do it today. So here's the truth I'll leave you with. You don't earn trust by eliminating uncertainty. You earn trust by how you show up inside it. Stop performing that you're certain about everything. Be grounded. Create clarity where you can, even if it's small, and model the ownership you expect from others. Because when things are unclear, people don't follow plans, they follow you. Thank you for joining me today. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content about leadership, entrepreneurship, and living a purpose-driven life. See you later, y'all. Bye.